This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, right here on S3. Welcome to it. Nice and early. Now, the month of August provides an opportunity to create awareness around gender bias issues, such as those affecting our female consumers. Now, this morning we are talking about pink tax. A deeply affecting issue in the global culture. And Tina Tiart, founder of and trustee of 1000 Women, One Voice Women's Organization, as well as Gugu Nonjinge, advocacy specialist from the Center for the Study of Violence and Reconciliation, join us this morning to help break this down for us and help us understand it just a little bit more. Ladies, thank you very much for joining us on the couch this morning. And I'm glad we're talking about this. Yes, it's not something that we often go out and we think about this, but it's an actual issue. So, Tina, I want to start with you. For those who don't know, particularly men, I think, what exactly is pink tax?
Well, pink tax refer to where there are special prices for women's products. They pay more, and also around our own tax system. If you take, for example, that 40% of households are women households, they're usually classified as single women and therefore pay higher tax than a family with a husband and a wife, or with two partners who are in a relationship. So yes, there are still various places in our tax system where women are taxed differently, but also in the retail. And I'm sure Google will enlighten us more on the real retail and how it affects us. Just because it's in a pink box, it's more expensive.
My goodness. Now, Gugu, some real-world examples here of some of those products that are subjected to this pink tax. And like Tina also now said, I mean, how does it affect women specifically from a financial point of view?
100%. I think what Tina's touching mostly on, I think we've had conversation about the tampon tax, which is specifically for feminine hygiene, like your sanitary pads, your tampons, right? That is tampon tax, and that those are subject to VAT. And in some countries like South Africa, unfortunately, those have been taken off. But pink tax specifically focuses on products that are directed to those who identify as women. So, for example, we're looking at shower gels, we're looking at razor blades, we're looking at deodorant that are just covered in pink. It's the same ingredient, just that the fact that the product and the packaging of the product is made pink and is directed to those who identify as women, so it's made to be a bit expensive. Sometimes it's just the scent that is a bit different, even because you'd find a man, it's much more masculine in scent, it's much more dry, but you get a much more floral scent for women-specified products, and then they're subject to be charged a bit more.
Because of that, it's subject to being taxed.
100%.
I must be honest, it's bizarre for me to hear this, because, I mean, I'm not too clued up on this, but, I mean, this is why we're having this conversation, to get knowing, because, I mean, the idea here is to kind of equalize that cost. I mean, it's essentially, you know, the same products that men and women both use. Now, I did read here that, you know, in some cases, critics argue that gender-based pricing reflects legitimate differences in production costs and manufacturing costs. What is your response to that? I
don't think so. 100% don't think so, specifically because there hasn't been a real study that focuses on the production costs of these products. Some of the studies that have been done already have been done by consumers themselves, who actually go into these retailers and find, okay, it's the same razor, but it's pink, but a men's one is blue, but this one is about 5 rands more, 17 rands more. That is the price difference. But in terms of producing a razor or shaving,
I can't see that it would be.
It would be any different, even though the manufacturer might argue that, oh, this one is mostly for sensitive skin. But if we actually look into the products that go into producing or creating that product, there isn't any price difference I mean, there isn't any difference or variations in that. So I definitely beg to differ with that.
No, absolutely. And I see that in my own household as well. Now that we're speaking about it, you know, with my wife having to go out and buying those things like razors or fragrances, there is a significant difference. But I mean, why are we talking about it? Because you go to the shop, you might not even realize it, because it's there, you get it, you put it in your basket, and you go pay it. Is there anything that can be done to kind of just, you know, get to that point of fair pricing? What do you think needs to be done, Gugu?
we actually don't have any quite strict laws around safeguarding people who identify as women or gender-specific pricing, right? So I think for me that is the starting point, to actually ensure that these pricings are actually inclusive and they are non-binary, especially for products and services that are directed to those who are identifying as women, so that every gender or people, gender identities actually enjoy the same pricing. So essentially it all bottles down to the laws that we abide by.
And I mean, it makes sense if you think about it, that things should be kind of equal. I mean, it's the same products coming from the same factory, same kind of manufacturing processes, like you rightly said. Talk to me about, Tina, societal norms and stereotypes. How do these influence these disparities with regards to these products and also contribute to the perpetuation of pink tax specifically?
Yeah, I think when you talk about perpetuation, that happens in lots of instances and lots of cases. The way we teach our girls, the way we talk to the boys, and the way fathers get treated in the house or men get treated in the house. And I really believe that it's time that we as women also talk to boys, talk to girls in a different way, whereby we get rid of patriarchal, we get rid of all these issues that is keeping us back. And where women actually are part of perpetuating what is happening at the moment. And I also think that women should be far more aware of what a pink box does to a price, you know. Even I've just read last night about in London, 2 shirts for boys and girls. The girls' shirt is more expensive than the boys' one. Hard hats for bicycles. The pink one is more expensive. Why? And a lot more expensive. So, yes, for me, there's lots that women can do. But I think men like you, who are now aware, also, you know, women pay far more for a haircut than men. And very often it's the same head, it's the same hair, it's the same
and it's
kind.
significantly more as well.
Yes. So I think there are lots that we as women and men can do together to change that.
Fantastic. Thank you very much once again for being here. We are not done yet. We're going to delve a little bit deeper, more into some pink tax, but I would love to know your say. What do you say about it? Have you experienced it? Are you aware of it? Connect with us on our social media pages, and we will be back with Tina and Gugu in just a bit.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. You are tuned into your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on S3 on this Tuesday morning. And we are continuing our conversation right now with Tina Tiat, founder and trustee of 1000 Women, One Voice Women's Organization, as well as Gugu Nonjinge, advocacy specialist from the Center for the Study of Violence and Reconciliation, around gender bias issues affecting our female consumers, such as pink tax. Now, we spoke about a little bit earlier, pink tax, where products in a pink box or that's got pink on it are taxed differently and higher. And that ranges across a whole variety of different spaces. I mean, from actual products to, like you've mentioned, haircuts, which I found absolutely bizarre. Now, Gugu, I want to start with you on this one. Pink tax, it has gained significant attention over the past couple of years, which is good that we are starting those conversations. But when we look at the media, pop culture, social media, influencers, how does that contribute to perpetuating or challenging pink tax?
And I think we most of the time ignore the role that media plays in perpetuating stereotypes, misconceptions. And in this case, it perpetuates quite a lot of these socially constructed beauty standards that we see. Women need to shave their armpits, women need to wax, the type of products that women use for your face, for your skin. We're just having a conversation right now that it's actually the same shower gel. Just that the other one is pink and is...
My wife can use my razor.
100%, and it's flower fragranced compared to one that a man uses. So I think it plays quite a lot of role in perpetuating that misconception. And we need to dismantle that, because because they're non-inclusive. It totally excludes other gender identities. It includes cis, trans, non-binary identities. So we need to challenge that because they should be enjoying fair gender-priced products and services.
Absolutely, we are people using products
100%.
at the end of the day. Tina, we have been, obviously there's been a fight, it's been global about gender equality, and rightly so. There's been a lot of conversation sparked out of it. We've seen events around gender equality, just getting that voice and message out there as well. Now, I want to ask you with pink tax, how does it affect the overall economic empowerment with regards to women, and how can, by eradicating pink tax, get us closer to that gender equality that we are so, I think heartfully looking for?
Yeah, I think I want to just step one back and say that during lockdown, 3 million people lost their jobs. 2 million were women, and still a lot of them today are not employed.
Sure.
So a lot of them are starting their own businesses, and at 1,000 Women, we've got a lovely network where we encourage people to restart. Because remember, we also had all this tragedy and riots,
Yeah.
and people had to restart their businesses. It's not just for finding jobs. So 40% of women, I've explained, that are single household mothers, and they care for the children. And of 48% of children live with mothers, women households, where only 4% of children live with men. So you can just realize the impact of a woman earning a lesser salary or a lesser job. I think in South Africa it's still 12% that women, 12% less money that women earn. So if you take all that, it's very difficult to start a business. It's very difficult to move out of the poverty trap to the next level.
Especially if you add things like having a house to live in, having
Yes.
kids to look after, everything that goes with that, school fees and everything else. And then, of course, on top of everything else, the pink tax.
The pink tax, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think it also goes, for me, it goes further in the sense that women still can't access finance the same as men. So even when you come to the bank, there is still a pink tax on you. And people will say, it's because you don't comply with bank standards. But surely banks can make alternative arrangements for women so that they can start up small
Or
business.
just the same arrangements across the board.
Yes, and trust a woman's business. I mean, we know that if you give women a fish, she will feed the community.
Yeah.
We know that.
Tina, now, of course, it comes down to we need to try and empower and spark those conversations, especially, I think, with the younger consumers out there, to make those informed choices, to demand, I think, fairer practices and fair pricing without compromising, of course, on quality as well.
Yes.
How do we spark those conversations? What do we need to do?
Talk, like today. I really believe that a lot of the young women will pay attention now when they buy products.
Yeah.
Also, to not just products, but services. And we can demand for us to be better treated by the producers. Also, women should start producing, be the producers of product, our own product.
Yeah.
And then also look at VAT, for example. We've got no VAT on sanitary towels, pads, but when it comes to the panty, the sanitary panty, there's tax on it.
Tax on that,
So it's not consistent.
Look, at the end of the day, I wish we had a lot more time to talk about this, but we need to, like you rightly said, create those alternatives, not compromising on quality, get more women to start producing these products specifically for women. Tina, Women's Day celebration happening later today, and we're looking forward to tomorrow. Just quickly run us through what is happening.
Yes, today we are talking about the maintenance law and how to maneuver when you go to court, because there are still lots of challenges when women go to court for maintenance. And as you know, men know how to jump through the hoops, and a lot of children are economically disempowered because they do not have money to have a better life because dads don't pay.
Yeah. I want to thank you both for coming on this morning and talking about this and just enlightening us a little bit. And I think a lot of people at home, took a little bit of a big gulp of air. It's like, I did not know about this. I didn't know it was as serious as well, even though they might know it's around. But thank you very much for just bringing that. I think there's still a lot of conversation that's going to happen around this topic. And like they rightly said, it really is about starting that conversations. And that's what we've done this morning. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you. Thanks.